Let's look at our first task here. Project list doesn't show correct status. Expected behavior. We should have the color and text of the status badge, where the arrows are pointing. They should change according to the status of the project. The color should be red, yellow, and green, and the text should be critical, warning, and stable, as shown. Currently, though, the colors of error and info, they are not showing according to the design, and error is showing instead of the word critical, info instead of the word stable. And we can see this in our development. The color of the status badge matches the project status, and the text writes critical and stable for the appropriate ones. So we want to have the status come in and the color to match and the text to match. And we can find out about information about the status project through the API documentation. And we see here the project coming in, the status with an enum, an array of 3 of them. So the API is giving us 3 status states of error, warning, and info, and somehow error and info are causing some problems, or there are some problems caused by the error and info. And let's see the application where this is located. So we see that it's in the badge container, which is inside of a project card, which is ultimately inside of our project card container. So let's look at the badge and see what we can find. So here's our badge. Let's see where badge is used. Let me see, it's in the project card as we saw there. So let's look at the project card. And when we come down to the project card, we see that the badge is used in here. The color is determined by an object. So the status colors are keys are stable, warning, and critical, and that doesn't match with our error, warning, and info. So that's a concern. And then it looks like we're just producing the text of the status itself, which that is confirmed. So these are some items that we need to fix. We need to fix the color and the text, and it looks like they're right here. So we'll work on that. We'll come back and see what we have. All right, let's look at what solution we came to. We were supposed to have a critical, stable, and warning with correct text and correct color. And we'll see here we have the correct text and the correct color. So what happened? Well, we said that the color was being produced by the object status colors, and what was going on here was we had the wrong keys. So we changed it so that we could get info, warning, and error. And we had to change the key values for property status. And I also went ahead and changed the keys themselves to make them uniform. And then for the text itself, the text was being produced by the incoming value of status, but we needed that to be swapped out for stable, warning, and critical. We didn't need to use the TypeScript enum, but since we used it here, and the idea of an enum is to give us more intent in our code and make it more readable, I thought, why not? And there you have it. All right, let's look at creating some tests. Since accepted criteria asks us for the appropriate color and appropriate text, I think it would be a good idea to create separate tests for each. Let's get to work. Okay, let's look at what we did. So we have our two tests, one that it provides each project status with its appropriate color, and it provides appropriate text for each project status. We're going to get the main, we're going to find each of the list elements, then we'll iterate over each list element. We will get the element itself, we'll also grab the status, and our test is that we want to see that the element should have a CSS color, style, property that matches the appropriate values up here. So the info status should have this RGB value, the warning status should have this, and error should have this. And when we run our test, we see that that is expected. And then for the appropriate text, this is a good setup, so I kept that. We will iterate over, get all the elements, iterate over all the list elements, look at each project card, we'll get the element, we'll get the status from the API, mocked API, and then we will get the text of the element, and we're going to test that it should equal the return value of stable, warning, and critical. Since we're capitalizing it, we wrap all the elements, and we can get the text, and we assert that it should be critical. And there we have it.